Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the US government has decided to rug pull cryptocurrency. I don't like this guy's face anymore. I never did like it, but I thought it was kind of cool, to be honest with you. It says that the US won't be purchasing any more Bitcoin, although they won't be purchasing any Bitcoin. Hold on, let's retract that. It says that they might be buying some more Bitcoin. I mean, what the hell is going on here? You've got inflation ticking up with a surprise reading out of nowhere, and you've got a wild president saying that there is no inflation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to break it all down for you on the charts because that's realistically where the truth of the market is. As it stands right now, ladies and gentlemen, you can see Bitcoin's took a little bit of a tumble to the downside. I just want to air something out. Last night's video, I said don't short Bitcoin. Why? Because it went to clear out its all-time high. Cool, it cleared the all-time high. Then after that, it rolled over. Well, look, if you made a little bit of profit on the all-time high flip, happy days. But looks like today was a little bit of a bleed across the board, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the readings that came out, this was a surprise. Unbelievable. Unemployment claims came in lower, but not too bad, let's be honest. And then Bitcoin didn't quite like it. So let's just break it down quickly for you. Going into the daily time frame, this sharp move down, ladies and gentlemen, the usual consensus says that the fast move is the false move. But this is a very, very sharp move, and it's recovered 1, 2, 3, 4, near enough 4 days worth of price action, okay? Zooming in on the 5 and 13 EMA, the close of this candle is going to dictate whether or not we're going to see a continuation to the downside. If they mean business about dropping Bitcoin, then Bitcoin breaking below this candlestick right here at 116,000, well, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably going to see Bitcoin rolling over. But it's not out the woods just yet, guys. We've got inconsistency with regards to the actual interest rates. Reviewing where we are right now based off the data that came out today, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's just look at it from this perspective. 92.6%. Even though the core PPI came in higher, they're blaming it on tariffs, but tariffs are here to stay. Quickly going over into this. The Kabasi letter says here that core CPI inflation is back above 3% and PPI inflation is at its hottest since March 2022. Trump wants 300 basis point rate cut and is set to replace Fed Chair Powell. Are you ready for what's next? Now, without diving too deeply into this, you can see the logic that they are coming with. But the bigger picture of it all is this. Bonds. Bonds are going to tell you exactly where the commitment lies. Why? Because it's investors' expectations of the future. Going into the 10-year, you can see it just took a nosedive to the downside. 2 years shoots up. The 10-year shoots up. The 30-year shoots up. Now, the cool thing about it is this. Even though the 10-year is up 4.2%, the current interest rates are currently sat at 4.5%. So even though they're trading low still, it means that investors' expectations of the future of interest rates is still lower. Having a look at the order flow as we go into the Asian session, you can see that Ethereum on the left has got a decent amount of offers coming into play, but equally we got some bids coming into action. Bitcoin on the right here, you can see we've got quite a significant amount of bids coming into play. But if they can sustain these lows right here, then there is a good possibility that Bitcoin might actually start making a little bit of a recovery, given that we do have some offers coming into play right here. Quickly having a look at where we are with the miners position index, you can see nothing really has happened from that end. They've not really done any selling, but it hasn't been updated just yet. Usually it does have an update round about this time, so it doesn't look like there's been any activity from the miners. However, we're going over into the ETF, and you can see we're still at the balance of 744,539. And looking at the Arkham itself, you can see we've got some activity from BlackRock with some maneuvering of the Bitcoin ETF. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, in my honest opinion, I think this move to the downside on Bitcoin is just a little dip, if I'm being frank with you. If the bull run is still going to sustain itself, then Bitcoin will be looking at making a recovery back up. A lot of people have been liquidated, and the order flow itself will suggest that if we do start to see offers coming into play, then Bitcoin is equally going to start making a nice little reversal to the upside. If you notice all these bids right here, I think these bids got caught off guard because the speed of the news announcements that came out earlier on completely wiped long liquidations, and it kind of put the bids off from actually bidding on Bitcoin, which is why it's an imbalance in the chart. Where we're now seeing here is we've got a little bit of flavor right now where there could be a possibility that bids are going to start coming into action, okay? But this gap right here is consistent with the vector candle. That's an imbalance in the chart, and logic says that we would naturally anticipate that if Bitcoin has been moved down lower just to grab the bids, then logic says that Bitcoin should be going up. Remember, interest rates are going to get cut. So this could be the last run up for Bitcoin before the Fed pivot, and then that's when everything does start to take a little bit of a tumble to the downside. Rolling over to the stock market, you can see NASDAQ hasn't done anything. It's been a horrible day. It's not gone anywhere, and that's good news if we look at it. Quickly going over into some cryptocurrency stocks over here just to see where we are. $74.10 for bullish. Quickly going over into Circle just to understand where we are with that. Okay, that's now at $138, and volume is ticking up a little bit on this one as well. But again, for me, Circle, it's going to be a big player, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll talk about this every single day, and you'll probably see it pulling back a little bit more. However, the bigger picture shows that these guys are offering a key service for cryptocurrency, which will naturally have a demand from investors. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to keep this video short and sweet for you. Tomorrow, we're going to be diving into a couple of concepts regarding banks' unrealized losses and what it really means when the US government is calling for interest rates to get cut, but the market itself is looking at other things. So make sure you tune into that video tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Mad love and respect, and I'll be speaking to you then. Take care of yourselves, gang. Peace.